Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Welcome to my podcast, where we are going to talk about a lifestyle with dogs and throw in a few life lessons along the way. Whether you're a hound hunter, bird dog enthusiast, running setters, pointers, retrievers, or a flat-out running dog junkie, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Heath Hyatt, a certified law enforcement canine trainer with over 3 decades of personal and professional training and handling experience. It's time for me to pay it forward. So grab your leads, lace up those boots, and come and join me on this lifelong process of teaching, training, and learning. Are you looking to unlock your dog's full potential and give them the best nutrition possible for peak performance? Then look no further. Inukshuk has what you're looking for. Inukshuk's nutrient-dense formulas are crafted to keep your dog's energy high and performance top-notch. Packed with premium proteins and essential fats, Inukshuk delivers the balanced nutrition your dog needs to thrive. From hunting dogs to police canines, Inukshuk is trusted by professionals. Give your dog the power of peak performance with Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of What's Up Wednesday. You know the drill. So if you're on your morning commute, just chilling around the house, just coming in and sitting down to relax, and we are very appreciative that you're with us. Just got back from a road trip. Just got back from Wisconsin. Boy, do I have a lot to talk about. This may be in 2 or 3 episodes because, the information and the feedback just keeps flowing. But yeah, tell you a little bit about my trip. My thought process was I didn't want to travel during the day. You know, it's July, it's hot. I don't want to have the dogs out in the middle of the day and get stopped in traffic and have to sit in traffic. So me and my geniusness decided that I was going to leave in the evening, drive as far as I could until I got tired. Then I was going to pull over to the rest stop or the gas station and take me a nap. And when I woke up, grab me a coffee and hit it again. And if I had to stop multiple times, that's what I was going to do. So we left here about 6 o'clock on a Wednesday evening and traveled up through the great state of West Virginia and hit old 35 up into Ohio. And the closer I kept getting to Chicago, we got through Ohio into Indiana. We went through Richmond, Indiana. We'll be there in August at Autumn Oaks. Y'all come and see us. Got through Indiana into Illinois. I'm like, I want to get through Chicago before morning. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't believe that I have stayed up this whole time. Like that 2 to 5 o'clock has always been my nemesis. Even, when I work night shift, I was good till about 2 o'clock. And then from 2 till daylight, man, I was on a struggle bus and bad. So about 3 o'clock, we ended up going through Chicago. We get around it, and I'm like, all right, we're not that too far out of Wisconsin. Let's try to get to the state line. So we get up to the state line, and it starts to become daylight, and I'm kind of getting, that second wind. I'm like, okay, I got a little tired right there. But we stopped and got gas, and I got me I'm gonna tell you, those I drink Black Rifle coffee. That's what I drink most of the time. And we stopped at a gas station, and they had some of the Black Rifle, and it had 300 milligrams of caffeine. Man, that I feel like that kept me awake because I drank 2 of those, one earlier in the night and then one that morning. So by the time daylight come up, I mean, I was on the road, man. I just kept going. So Ross texts me and is like, "You guys making it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're a couple hours out. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're moving, man. So made the whole trip and got up, got the dog situated, got her stuff unloaded, all the junk that we took unpacked, laid down, crashed for a couple hours, and then got up and, went on about the day. But man, I tell you, so a couple things that I observed on my travels. I don't know what's going on especially it was Illinois mostly, but I did see some of it in Indiana. Why, if you guys are truckers, can you tell me? I've seen so many bobtails that, me being a police officer makes my suspicion go up. When you're running a bobtail, you're not making any money. And if you're not making any money, like what's going on? So we passed a ton going up and coming back. Like, I don't think I've seen so many bobtails in a long time. But it definitely caught my attention. And it wasn't like they were going from one facility to another. I mean, we followed this one through Indiana into Illinois. I mean, it was a good ways. It was probably 100 miles we followed them or was with them. So, yeah, just caught my attention. That was one of the things that it brought up. But on the way back, kind of the same thing. We hunted that morning and come in and packed all our stuff up, grabbed a quick shower, loaded the dogs up, left about 11 o'clock. And it was going to be the same thing. The further I can get before I get tired, the better. Trying to avoid Chicago around the shower. Well, that didn't happen. Man, landed right in the middle of it. Well, we were about 4:30 coming through there, so not quite. But, man, the roads are horrible through Chicago. And got stuck in traffic several times. I mean, it added over an hour to the trip. But I'm going to go on a rant right here. You pay these tolls. Illinois has got toll roads, right? Everybody's been through there. You got toll roads. So you're paying tolls. And then if you stop to get gas on a toll road, it's 49 cents higher than anywhere else. And they said it's a convenience tax. So if I stop to get gas on a toll road, I'm going to pay 50 cents more for convenience of having to having the gas station right off the toll road. Like, come on, man. Like, really? Like, your roads are horrible. I'm having to pay to travel on these horrible roads. And now you're making me pay a 49-cent convenience tax to get gas there because it's convenient. Like, man, what does people think? But yeah, I of course we didn't stop. We didn't buy anything in Illinois. So we got on through there, and thank goodness the gas situation worked out on the way up, because we got to like, why is gas so much more expensive here? And then as soon as you cross the state line off the toll road, like it was $3.49. It was $3.49, and as soon as we crossed the state line, it was $2.99. So anyway, yeah, just I don't understand the thought process. Let's just tax the American people to death. Like, you're getting your nickel and diming us to death. So that's my rant. So we get up there, and I know I talked about it briefly in the last podcast, but let me just give you a rundown. So I took 10 dogs, can't run but 6. So just switching them out back and forth, whatever. But I only took 2 2-year-olds. Everything else was under 2. I had 2 2-year-olds, 2 1.5-year-olds. I had 2 2-year-olds, and in 10 months, 8 months, so on and so forth. In my mind, I thought my 2-year-olds were further along than what they are. Again, let's take into account the different styles of hunting. And if you want a big old piece of humble pie, like get you a big slice of it, like break it off. Sometimes in dog training, you have to eat a little humble pie, and I eat it. We make mistakes, wrong timing, unclear signals, whatever, thinking you nailed something when you really haven't. But a slice of humble pie is not failure. Okay. Like I had to talk myself off the ledge several days, frustrated, aggravated, disappointed, got to put your pride in your pocket, put it away for a little bit. But it's not failure, it's feedback. And when you accept it with grace, it makes us better handlers, better trainers, and it makes us better partners for our dog. So I eat humble pie all week because in my mind, my dogs were further along than what they were, right? My 2-year-olds had one season basically on them. I started Lady when I went to Canada last year. She done a really good job. Sassy actually started the year before. I remember I had her out when Bryce was here, but I only hunted her 5 or 6 times. It wasn't like I hunted her the whole season. She was just too young, and you guys know how I feel about that. And then last year, we get to Canada. She's doing really well. And she's continued to click on. She wasn't treeing like I want. You've heard me talk about that, but that's kind of went away and it's doing its own thing now. But, and then the other dogs, they're not there. They're not where I thought they were in my hunting environment. And man, if you want to challenge your dogs and you really want to find out what you have, go to different places. Ross and I talked about this. We all say that I hunt in the toughest place in the country until you go somewhere else and you challenge your dogs to do something completely different, completely off of your style or your method of hunting or way of hunting. And that it makes things a little different. But, so yeah, I got a lot of humbleness, and I spent several evenings trying to just going back through the hunt, what I did wrong, what I could have done differently, making just talking myself off the ledge. And then it all come down to this. I took young dogs with a year, and when I say a year, guys, we only get to hunt 3 months a year. And yes, I do travel. I get to go to North Carolina and I get to go to West Virginia a little bit. But, let's just add another 2 weeks to that, because that's basically, if I hunted both of those together, it would probably end up being another week or 2. And so you're getting basically 3 months and 2 weeks of training or hunting. And it's just not enough. Like, it's not enough to solidify what I'm after. And my expectations are high. I mean, my expectations are high. And man, did I get let down. But that's a part of growth, right? We're going to grow out of this. We're going to be better. We're back home. Our season comes in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to try to I'm going to work on some things. It gives me a lot of stuff to think about, and 16-hour ride home and a lot of conversation on what's what and what's not and where we want to be and what I want to do. So it was a great trip. You guys know that I'm a huge, I love to fish for muskies. And man, I did not realize I was in the mecca of the muskie fishing world right there where I was at, and got to go to the muskie shop, which is where I get a lot of my lures and line and leaders and equipment. Like it was a great to go up there and actually go in the shop and look around, see what they've got. We went on I got a bunch of, I love St. Croix rods. There's a lot of different rods out there, but I really, 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 really like mine. And I've got other rods too, but I really like mine. We were close to that, so we went up and took a tour around the factory. And the tour guide, Ken, man, he was a hoot. Got to see how they're made and what I'm looking at. And very impressed with the amount of hands-on. There's not a part of a St. Croix rod that somebody doesn't have their hands on it. They do use machines to do certain things, but somebody's running the machine, taking the rod off, inspecting the rod. It was really cool. So got to do a couple other things and got to take her boat ride on the river. So it was great. It was really, really, really good. So thanks to Ross for having us up and his crew. I mean, for putting up with the lack of dogs that I had, letting me tag along and be a part of their group for a week. I'm truly appreciative. So if everybody followed our posts on, and I didn't post anything, I did it on stories, and I think Ross posted it on stories. But the last day, my dogs hadn't hit a lick on a snake for much nothing that whole week. And the last day, we get treed, and lo and behold, my dogs happen to make it there. And we get into the tree, and the first thing I see is a walker dog and I would say it was at least 30 foot up. And it could have been a little higher. I don't know, but it was up far enough that it made me nauseous. I look up and I see a walker dog in a tree. I don't even see the bear. And Ross is like, I tree a walker dog? I'm like, I don't know. So we're going to talk about tree climbers today. So we get in there. The bear is out on the end of a limb up from where Briggs was the dog that was up in a tree. And this is what is so, like, you never know what's going to happen hunting. But Briggs is one of my dogs that's never up on the tree. He's always standing back, 4 feet on the ground, barking up. Like, I can show you video, picture after picture. Like, that's what he does. How in the world, or what in the world caused him to want to climb that far up in a tree? I can't figure it out. It's beyond me. But it was a pine tree. It had a bunch of big limbs, thank goodness, because it allowed me to climb up there. So he was up in that tree. Well, Bishop, she was about 10 foot up when I walked in. And when she seen me, I didn't even think about it. I was so focused on him. She must have bounced down and got back on the ground. So we go in, we get all the dogs tied up. And guys, I'm horrible. I didn't get a lot of videos. I didn't get a lot of pictures. In some places, it was just so thick that pictures weren't good. I think Ross got a video or two, and Chelsea got a video or a picture of the dog up in the tree. And I had my GoPro in my pack and forgot I should have put it on when I climbed up the tree to get him, because that would have been some good footage to put on YouTube. And I'm telling you, I don't like heights. Like, the older I get, the less I like them. So I take everything off. I grab a couple dog leads. I actually grab an extra dog lead. So I've got like 4 dog leads around me. And I take off up this tree. So I get up to where I can touch his back foot. I step up on a limb and I go ahead and hook him on the collar. And I take one of the rope leads that I've got and I wrap it around his chest, right up underneath his armpits, and make it into just a cinch. So I like to never got him pulled away from that fork that he was in. It was kind of like a bowl, actually. I got him down, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm fighting him. How am I going to get him down? Well, Chelsea climbs up the tree. She gets below me. So I get him down in my lap, and I'm telling you, this dog's stressing. You want to talk about body language and, behaviors. Like, he is panning extremely hard. We did have a run, whatever, but if you looked at the other dogs, his behavior was not to the extreme level, but it was elevated. And I get him in my lap. I let him calm down for a minute. And then I'm trying to get him away from me so I can lower him down to her. That was a chore because he was hanging on for dear life. And every time he could get his foot on a limb or something, that's what he was doing. So it took us a minute to get him down, 6 or 8 foot. I don't know however far it was. She gets a hold of him. Now, I've got him. I also had him. I had a lead wrapped around my waist to hold in case I had to grab a limb or something and fail. I still had a way to hold on to him. got him down to her. So I climb down the tree, go around her, get down underneath her, 5 or 6, 8 feet, whatever it was. Well, she hands the dog down to me. I take a couple of steps down, and by this time, I was able to lower him down to Ross. So I finally got him away from me, and I lowered him down. Ross got his hands on him. We got him on the ground. So, yeah. So I got to thinking about dogs that have climbed trees for me. I've talked to a lot. I don't like tree climber. I don't want no part of it because I don't want my dog up 60 foot in a tree, falling out and killing him. I don't want it. And of all of my dogs, if you'd have told me I was going to have a dog in the tree, he would have been one of the last dogs I'd have picked, because that's just not his style. I don't know what caused him to go up. I don't know if the bear come down and they got after it and run it back up the tree. I don't know. But thank goodness the bear decided to stay still and didn't try to come out of that tree, because I don't think there was room for all three of us, both of us and a dog in the tree, and him to come down. But after I got the phone with the dog, I wasn't even paying attention to the bear. Like I kind of in the back of my mind, I was like, all right, let's get the dog down and then we'll go from there. So I don't like a tree climber, but I had a conversation with Steve. They hunt out west, and he says all of his dogs climb trees. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, when I sell pups, like, a lot of people don't like it because they're tree climbers. And he said, but here's my thought. Like, dogs get ledged out a lot. And he said, if I've got dogs that'll climb a tree, my dogs don't get ledged out. So that's just a part of it for me. So I was like, well, okay, it makes sense. But my dogs don't typically, it's been 20 years, and me and Ross got to talk about it. So let's go back through my tree climbing experience. All right. So I've got 4 dogs, including Briggs. That's one. So the last dog that I had climb a tree was Roper. I was hunting Roper for Fielder. We were down in a PKC hunt in Tennessee, and the dogs got in there and got treed. And I think I drew out with John Walker hunting Buckeye Bud that night. And we got in there, the dogs were treed. We get in there, and Roper's not there. And I looked up, and he's about 60 foot up in a tree, but it was a leaning tree. So a big poplar tree had fell into a fork of another tree, and the coon was sitting out on the end of that limb. And Roper had went up to that fork, but once he tried to go further, the limbs were like bending over. So I basically did the same thing. I wrapped 2 leads around me and around the bottom of the tree. That way, if I fell or slipped, it would catch me. I don't know if them leads would hold 250-pound me, but I guess peace of mind made it feel that way. But I literally scooted myself all the way out on that tree and got my hands on Roper, did the same thing, tied him off to a lead, got him in front of me, and basically scooched all the way back down to where they could get their hands on him, and finally got off the tree. And that took a while. I mean, that was probably a 30-40 minute ordeal. So that was my last, and that's been 20 years ago. It's been over 20 years ago. That's probably been in the late 90s. And I was like, my Lord, are we lucky that doesn't happen? Or is that, anyway, so that was my last dog. The dog before that, my brother-in-law was hunting a black dog named Coma. And we were hunting the river bottom. The dog's treed around the side of a mountain. The mountain runs right down in the river, if y'all know these Appalachian mountains. But so it's pretty sharp on points of it. So the dog's got in there, and it's basically the same thing. The tree was leaning, and Coma had got up into the very, very tip top of that tree. This one was a little scary because it was straight up and down. So once you got up in, and I did the same thing. I put a bunch of leads around me, and I scooched up the tree and climbed it and got where I could get my hands on him. And I'm telling you, struggling with a dog that don't want to move because they're kind of, and Coma wasn't even barking at that time. Roper was still treeing. Coma was kind of shut down. and getting them out of the tree. So was able to do that. And then my first experience was going to be on the same river in the same area, just downriver about 200 or 300 yards. Brandy came treed, and I got through the edge of the woods and got out. She was in a big sycamore tree. She was probably about 20 feet up, and the sycamore tree was leaning over the river. So if she would have fell, the river would have caught her. It wasn't real deep right there, but I think it would, I don't think it would have hurt her that bad. And I was by myself that night. Every other time I've had people with me. Well, that night I was by myself, and I had two of her pups with me. So I had to double tie them because I didn't have enough leads. I double tied them and took another lead, and I had to climb this tree. Like, I physically had to climb up it because it was leaning just enough where I could climb it. And then once I got up to where it kind of, I don't even know how to say it. It kind of made it kind of flattened out over the river, and that's where she was. And I actually got her to turn around and come back to me. She had to come back about 10 feet, and I got her, and like I said, I hooked her up, and I had to climb back down the tree. In fact, when I got towards the bottom of it, I just turned her around where she was facing down, and she went on down the tree. So that's the 4 experiences I've had with tree climbers. Now, I have been with other people that their dogs have been in the tree. I don't think I've not had a dog. Coma was probably the worst because of the terrain and how the tree was over a cliff and it was straight down. I mean, it was probably 60 foot fall for him. That was the worst one. But yeah, I don't like it. It makes me nervous. I know the dogs have a possibility of getting hurt, especially if they fall. I just, it's not for me. It's not for me, and I don't care for it. So how do you guys feel about it? How do y'all take the climbers? Do you like them, not like them, prefer not? I prefer not, and I know things are going to happen, and it can happen, but I don't want my dogs going. So yeah, that was our trip to Wisconsin. Brought up a lot of memories and a lot of self-talk. Like I said, eating that humble pie, sometimes it don't taste real good, but it is what it is. Those guys up there have got some really good dogs. I got to give them credit. The style of hunting they do and what they do, they really, really, really have some good dogs. So I appreciate them having me up. Hopefully we can do it again in the future. And we'll catch you guys next time on What's Up Wednesday.
Crack of dawn, trucks gassed and loaded, collars charged and the GPS coded hounds. Hounds in the box, tail starting to thump. They know that ridge, they feel that jump. Bear sign fresh on the mountain trail. You can smell the storm in the cool thin gale. Let them loose and watch them fly. That deep bay rings knit the open sky. I'm a bear hound man, born and bred, chasing thunder where the brave don't tread. Through rock ravine and pine so tall, I trust them hounds when the big ones fall. They run with fire, they run with pride, with grit and heart. I can't deny it. It ain't for fame, it ain't for show. It's the wild calling, and I go. Paws hit dirt where the claw marks stay. Old boar's moving and he won't play. Young dog's learning, old dog leads, running with purpose, not just speed. Treetops shaking and the chase gets tight. You thank the Lord when they tree it right. One long howl from your cold-nosed crew, you know they earned it every boot step too. I'm a bear hound man, side. I'm a bear hound man, born and bred, carving legends where few have led. Through brush and snow, through heat and rain, that old bear trail runs in my veins. So here's to the pack who run the sound, standing firm when the bear turns round. We live out loud, we live full grown, in the high wild woods, we're home. Yeah, we're home, where the black bear runs and the hound dogs roam. I'm a bear hound.